This here is my OM606 swapped Land Rover Defender. Now, over the coming episodes, we're going to be doing a large amount of modifications to take passenger reactions from, oh my god, it's so fast, to let me out of the fucking car. So this is a 1998 Land Rover Defender, originally fitted with a TD5 engine, the 2.5 5-cylinder engine, built by Land Rover, blown up by me. Now, inside we've got one or two little mods. We've got some RX-8 heated seats. We've got a nice little night heater down there because we've actually, believe it or not, driven this one to the Alps and slept in it. But yeah, nothing too special about the truck itself. It's on lowering springs, mud terrains, standard drivetrain, nothing special about it. These engines don't make a lot of torque, so they're actually quite easy on drivetrains. Lots of power, not a lot of bottom end. So, let me tell you what's up with this engine. These OM606 engines are extremely capable from factory. In fact, a stock engine can make up to 450 horsepower with some supporting mods fairly reliably. And that's brilliant if you want to pick your kids up from school, take your granddad to hospital, go get some milk from the local shop. But unfortunately, that's not what this build's about. And we're going to need much, much more power than that. Anyway, moving on. Let's get this engine out. We'll get it on the stand. We'll begin to strip it down. I'll explain to you all the internal mods we're going to be doing to this engine to help it take the boost, fuel and RPM we're going to be throwing at it. Some pipe mind. The engine, as you can see, is now removed from the Land Rover. No German heart in there. Next thing to do is get it on the engine stand, and then we're going to start by stripping the head. We'll then flip it over, take a look at the bottom end. Once we've done that, I guess we'll start work on the engine. So we've got the 606 up on the engine stand. Now, I got this engine stand from a rather reputable country called China. Now, if you're ever concerned about the strength of them, go and check out my previous Land Rover video a couple of weeks ago, and you'll see this stand doing God's work. But now it's up on the stand. Let's get this manifold off. Let's start digging into this head. Oh yeah. So as I continue to delve into this wonderful head, don't we all love some wonderful head, I thought I'd best explain what I'm doing and why. Now, there's two reasons why we're taking this engine, it's focused. Now, there's two reasons why I'm taking this cylinder head off. One is to repair it, and two, to improve it. Now, the repair side of things. I'm convinced that these two cylinders have damaged valves. I know that because you can hear the tone in the exhaust, and if you run it with the exhaust manifold off, you can see that these two cylinders are significantly hazier than the other four. So we're going to have that repaired. And then for improvements, we're going to do a little bit of light porting on this head. Nothing too major because we don't want to lose the bottom end. The other thing we're going to be changing is we're going to be fitting stiffer valve springs. Now what that allows us to do is A, run more boost without the risk of damaging the valves again. And it also allows us to spin more RPM. So these engines normally max out around 5,200 to 5,500 RPM. But with valve springs and some stronger connecting rods, you can spin them significantly faster.
loose, is she?
Reminds me of this girl I once knew.
Wow. I mean, that looks...
That's nice. Oh, you dick.
Oh, not... Have you...
We'll cut that bit out. I'm just going to whip that bolt off.
Take 4?
Take 4.
Oh, yeah, there she is, look.
The head is now off. And looking down in here, initially, all looks pretty good. No obvious damage to the pistons just yet. The head itself is sat over here. I've just given it a bit of a brake cleaner wash. That's what's sat in that tray. Now, I have been a little premature. Got a little bit overexcited. Wanted to get the head off, see what was underneath. I didn't think about the fact that this head is going to probably be machined, or at least checked. And these engines have got pre-chambers, look. So these little combustion chambers, which I'll show you in a minute, protrude past the deck of the head. So I'm just going to slip the head back on, not properly, just with a couple of bolts. And we'll take these pre-chambers out because it'll be much easier with it attached to the engine than trying to do it on the bench. To get these pre-chambers out, there's these little lock collars we got to take out. I've got a special Mercedes tool for that. And then you wind a slide hammer into the injector thread down there and you can slide hammer them out. However, before you do that, glow plugs down here, they protrude into the pre-chamber. So if you're doing this, make sure you take your glow plugs out first. Otherwise, you either won't get the pre-chamber out or you'll snap the end of the glow plug off. Right, I'm going to get them all out and we'll have another go at taking the head off. So there is a Mercedes specific slide hammer tool you can get, but that's far too expensive. So what I've done is welded an old injector to the end of my Chinese slide hammer. Proper. Oh dear. Well, that's all the pre-chambers out. So these pre-chambers sit in the head and they've got a little ball inside there that when the engine's running, it gets red hot and the injector sprays onto that ball, which helps the fuel to atomise, and then it burns out through these holes into the cylinders, and that helps your engine run more efficiently with a lower injector pressure. Trick little things. So I've got the cylinder head back off and flipped upside down on the bench here, and what we're doing is I just want to check if my suspicion about these valves being damaged was correct. So this is cylinder 1 and 2, the ones I thought were bad. And I've just poured a bit of soap here in around the valves, nothing special, just some car soap. What we're going to do is I've got the air line here. We're going to spray up in through the exhaust ports and see if we can see them leaking. Right, so that looks all right. There's a literal hole in that one. Yeah, that'll be a part of your problem. It's not meant to do that. That one's all right. Oh yeah, same thing. Interesting. Exactly the same thing on that one. This head needs to go off to the machine shop then, and they'll hopefully redo all the valves, redo all the seats. We'll put some stronger springs in it, and we'll be back boosting in no time. So as you can see, I've now got a load more bits unbolted from the engine. I didn't show you that because that's all rather boring. What we're going to do now is flip the engine over, take a look at the crank, the rods, and the main bearings. Now I'm convinced this engine has bent con rods. And why I think that is because a couple of years ago, this crank pulley fell off. Now there's a bolt in here that holds all of this together and a little platework keyway that just positions the crank pulley on the crank. Now what happens is when the rods bend slightly in these engines, which happens from too much boost, low down, so you're making a lot of torque, or allegedly, if the engine was to suck in some water when you're off-roading, that may also hurt it. But anyway, let's not get bogged down in who sunk their truck. But once those rods bend, it then creates some harmonics in the crankshaft in the engine, and that rattles this bolt loose. Once that bolt comes loose, because it doesn't have a proper keyway in here, the crank pulley will then spin on the crankshaft, and it damages the end of the crank. That's why we got these two little pins here. So after it spun, I drilled and hammered in 2 pins, and that has fixed it for the moment, but we will be putting a new crankshaft in this engine. So we'll have a look when we get the rods out and see if they have got a bend in them. But for now, let's carry on taking it apart. So you can now see that my bottom end is officially blown to bits. Got the crankshaft here, and you can see the damage that crank pulley did when it spun on it. So that's where it's dragged all the keyway around. I've had a little look at the bearings, and actually everything looks pretty goddamn good. I'm not an engine builder, so if you guys see anything, let me know in the comments. But to me, it really doesn't look that bad. Also got the rods out here, and again, rod bearings all look okay. There's obviously, oh, that's not got a bearing in it, so don't look at that one. Yeah, some little scory marks, but again, nothing major. That's the main caps there. Again, nothing major. And I was saying about it having bent rods. So I've got a rod off a piston here. So you see the little end bearings all okay. If we lay it flat down on the table, you can normally tell with these rods if they're bent. Because when you lay them flat on the table, one way you can press down on the big end and it should pick up the little end. And to be honest, these really don't look that bad. There's maybe the slightest amount of movement, but nothing to write home about. That's all good news, because that means the block's not going to need a massive amount of work. It'll want honing because we'll put new rings in it. We'll be putting a new crank in it. It'll have new bearings, stronger rods because of the RPM and the power. But beyond that, we're pretty much done now for this episode. Right, thank you guys for watching. I've now got a bit of work to do in the background to get all these bits sent off to the machine shop. Get the block checked over, get the head fixed, get some parts on order. Next time you see this engine, we'll be putting it back together, and that will hopefully be in my new engine building room that I'm building over there. That's quite exciting. But in the meantime, this truck's obviously going to be silly powerful, and if there's anything you want to see us do with it, like, I don't know, drag racing, track day, something like that, if there's anything you guys would like to see, let me know down in the comments. Perhaps we can make something happen. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.